TD Bank came out with a new brand positioning brand platform about a month ago. This is TD North America. And I'm just going to read this, make sure I get it right. It's a more human way to bank. Digital when you want it, human when you need it. And the whole kind of platform is called More Human. And they released their ad for this, their ad campaign with a 60-second spot simultaneously US, Canada during the Super Bowl. And the piece has gotten really positive reviews so far. And I find it to be an interesting parallel to our discussion previously on Bell and their positioning around kind of this be connected, connection is everything. Um, and to see how TD has rolled it out comparative to that, I have some thoughts on that. I'm first curious, what's your initial take on this kind of Be Human platform from TD? How did you feel when you watched it?
Well, it takes a lot of guts for any bank to go out there and say, as outrageous as this may sound, it takes a lot of guts for any bank to go out there and say we're going to provide great human service
Yeah.
because they've been land basted for forever. All banks get land basted on their service at some point. So to go out there with a human service message takes a lot of courage. I do note, and it's going to be a new metric that I check from now on. When I watch the video, the ad on YouTube, they've got the comments turned off.
I
Well, that's a
noticed that
deliberate choice.
too.
They're
How
they're afraid
unhuman is
that
that, though?
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about being the tagline at the end of the or the positioning statement at the end of the ad is we believe the digital future is also a human one.
Yes.
So they're walking that line and then the comments are turned off so you can't engage with it. That's not an oversight. That's a very, very deliberate choice. They don't want people saying negative things about them. I
Yeah.
can understand that. I can
Yep.
understand that. However, right away, it does raise a bit of a question mark. The ad itself, the content, very interesting. You've got this robot, a little cute box. I've seen one actually in
Mm,
Miami when I was there a couple years ago,
mm.
and it was delivering food. And it drives by, and it's got these flashing lights, and in this case, it's delivering a coffee to, I guess, a crossing guard.
Yeah.
And at one point, it's going along, everything's fine. People are looking at it like it's this novelty, and then um, it basically drives into a pothole, and it needs some nice human being to go over and help it out of the pothole. So very deliberate choice there about how humans need to be involved in technology, and it's not flawless. There may be some bumps here. And I
Yep.
find that interesting. It's a bit of humility.
Yeah.
They're not saying things are going to be perfect. And I do wonder if that comes back to the whole money laundering scandal, the $3 billion fine, and the restriction on their growth they received in the United States, and whether that is a quiet acknowledgement, demonstrating some humility that things aren't going to be perfect. Either way, I like it.
I'm with you. I like it too, and I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's a very deliberate, humble in a way, opportunity to say, "We acknowledge there was a fumble. This is our attempt to rebuild trust. We see the importance of human interaction." And what I liked is when you look at the press release on their website about this new campaign, they don't just talk about the campaign itself, they talk about what they're doing with the actual product, service, operations to make it more human. Whether I'm not a TD customer, I don't know if you are, but
No.
I have I so I can't speak to if you can really feel this, but I liked that they spelled that out because that's something Bell didn't do when they launched their campaign, is talk about how they're going to be more connected to their customer. So I like that the intention is very clearly there to improve, to make it more human, regain trust, and I think it's a very deliberate, very smart campaign, and in looking at their Instagram, the comments are open there, and there's a mix of, yes, some people are complaining about, service and things like that, but it's generally not scathing, which typically on banks and phone providers, that's where people turn to complain. So, I'm with you, and you know what I also loved is at
Mm.
the very end of that spot, the green chair is there. They've kept the green chair, which everyone knows from
Oh,
TD. They haven't scrapped
yeah.
it, which I thought for sure, "Oh, the green chair is gone in this evolution of the brand," but it's there. So,
They have, and that the whole green chair positioning gives them more authority to talk about delivering a human customer experience than certainly any other Canadian bank.
I think
I don't
so
know the
too.
American banks as well. So good for them
Yeah,
on keeping that. And I'm
yeah.
so glad to hear that they talked in their press release about it, how they're actually going to do this, because anyone could have trotted out this sort of ad and done nothing operationally underneath to support it.
Absolutely, and if they're not carrying it out at the actual coalface, for lack of a better term, of their service, then, yeah, why do it at all? It's just a fancy campaign that might get a Con Lion award. So, no, I'll be curious to see if that continues in terms of their focus on how are they actually doing it, not just the what.
Mhm.
I do think it's a pretty obvious positioning, and I don't wanna belittle the campaign because I'm certain it required so many smart brains and insights and all of that to get there, but at the end of the day, I do think it's a kind of an obvious positioning right now because we're all craving sort of the human interaction amidst what is becoming a bit of a scary AI generated world, so I think, though, they came out with it early enough that they're ahead of other brands in terms of saying that they're really leaning into the human aspect. So I like that they were decisive enough, I think, to do it pretty quickly when a bank probably usually takes forever to make a decision on a new
Mhm.
platform. Yeah.
Well, I'd be interested in knowing how they articulated the business case internally. What is the business case for us to do to make these changes and embark upon this campaign? And working with many financial advisors as I do, I know that this ad is for TD as a whole, but in at least the wealth management arm of these big banks, AI is considered a serious threat
Yeah.
because people these days, they might just get on their phone and go with Wealthsimple or one of the what they call robo advisors and not think that it's important to have the human advice of a real live breathing wealth manager. So I see that as a potential as potentially part of the message here. And in that sense, this ad also feels like the beginning of something.
Mm.
It feels like, well, I mean, it is a new positioning. So I guess what I'm really saying is I feel like there's going to be a lot more to come, and I hope there is. And it comes even right down to the fact that when this robot's driving through the streets, everyone is looking at it like it's an alien practically. There's a novelty factor. So this is new. They're looking around. This is new, and it's being positioned that way. So, anyway, AI, the line that banks have to walk, especially in the wealth management function, is very real.
Yeah, that's a really great point, and I think also it's interesting from a corporate sort of messaging position as well for TD is if they ever make layoffs, a significant round of layoffs, the message better not be not that they would say this, but they better manage it to make sure it's not because of AI.
Really, I love that because who was it that just laid off 40% of their workforce? Was it
Um, that
Block?
would yes, thank you. Yes. And I mean, I think they admitted like, yeah, AI is a part of it.
So you can see how critical this positioning is to the very highest level of leadership at the bank. You can't be going as a CEO, you can't be sitting there and approving a campaign that says we believe the digital future is also a human one, and then canning a bunch of people. So let's watch and see if they've got their ducks in a row on that one.
And Morgan Stanley, I think today it was announced they're letting go 2 to 3%, maybe even 4% of their
Mm,
workforce. So, I mean, it's happening in the financial sector
mhm,
yeah, I'm with you. So, it had to be aligned all the way up on this messaging,
mhm,
but I'm
mhm.
excited to see what happens. It's not making me switch to TV though. My parents are just about to leave TV because they're frustrated and over it. So, it hasn't
Is
it
that right?
yeah.
Well, the switching costs with banks are, they actually, I don't know. I haven't done it in a while, so maybe it's easy. You would think it should be easy. You just maybe type some things into your computer and you're done, but I don't know, man, the
I
switching costs historically have been very high.
And I think they make it difficult to switch on purpose, because most people just say, "Oh, forget it, it's not worth it." Just because I
Mhm,
don't love the customer service, I'll stay.
mhm.
Um, yeah, so the retention and if they acquire new clients, etcetera, I tried to look up any results, but it's too soon with the campaign just launching kind of 4 weeks ago. So, yeah, we'll just
Right.
have to stand by on that one.